a good morning to you. It's the start of part 2. I hope you guys are doing well. I am here picking our 5th boulder. On part 1, you got to see us install the hydrostatic relief. What that did is allow for any of that groundwater that's moving down through their yard, under their house. It allows us to get it up and out of there. So we've got a way to pump that out. So if you didn't watch part 1, go back, watch that if you're curious about the hydrostatic relief. Also on part 1, if you want to see a little bit about what it looked like before we got started, go check that out. I've had this pile of boulders put aside since we signed the agreement to start moving forward on this project. You are going to start watching part 2 where we're going to lay the liner and then we are going to start placing some huge boulders. We've got a team of 4 people that are going to be placing that liner, so it's going to be a pretty hard day, but when we get to start rocking it in, it'll be totally worth it. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button. I'm glad you're here. Let's have some fun together. So what we're doing right now is we just put down some extra fabric and we're going to tamp it because this is so wet clay. We're just doing our best to just try and smooth out the bottom. You can see the tamper that's down there right now on the right that's not being used. We'll go focus on that for you. That is our deep spot. So that's where we're going to be able to make sure we put our cleaning pump every time we do a spring cleaning. That way we're going to be able to drain it all the way to the deep spot.
Hey, magic number. Come on, baby. Go.
Now, you and I.
Go. Kiss. Look.
Kids.
So Aiden chose our first boulder. Aiden, why'd you choose this boulder? What do you like about it?
It's big, and you can stack on top of it nicely. The way that we're going to be placing it in there, you need something that's good to stack. I think, like leaning backwards a little bit.
Exactly, and it's a building block. So it's our first boulder. It's going to go down in the deep end. This is a 6-foot boulder. We're going to strap it so it stands at that 6 foot. Remember, the pond itself is just over 6.5 feet deep, so it's going to be perfect. We want it to come up to that water line, so when we put the next rock on top of it, that'll be a great boulder to jump off of. So Aiden, you did a great job picking our first boulder. What Justin's doing right now, he is just making sure that we've got all of our folds properly addressed, making sure that any rocks that might have fallen in while we were setting the liner in place have been thrown out and aside. He's just feeling around, making sure that there's no real threats to this liner because, well, we're about to start placing boulders. When we're placing these huge boulders, not only do we have fabric underneath the whole liner, we're going to start putting fabric on top of the liner under these huge boulders. As a team, our feeling is we don't like to put that whole second layer of liner fabric over everything. We like to put it down under these boulders because sometimes things happen, and if you do have a boulder fall, it's a lot harder to see if that liner is in a safe spot when you have that fabric over everything, because now you basically have to cut that fabric aside anyway. So we like to just do it mainly underneath the huge boulder.
All right. Adam with Pond King Water Gardens here. We are at the end of week 1 at the Apple Valley project. Things are coming along beautifully. So we did have a slightly slower day today. We were down some manpower. We managed to get through with what we could. We got 6 big rocks down there, 1 junior boulder, and we're really loving how it's starting to come out. I mean, we're loving everything that's about it. Next week, we're hoping to get in Monday and really hit it hard and just get this whole bottom rocked out. And then we can start working on the second layer, and then we get into the fun stuff. All right, so stay tuned. We'll see you.
Today is the end of day 6. Got a lot of good stuff done today. It started with Adam getting here early in the morning for us. Thank you, Adam. He started draining off everything for us. Even when I got here at 9, there was still tons of water in here. I had a sweatshirt on when we were working with the liner, otherwise I'd be pretty dirty, but these guys stayed in the hole all day, placing boulders, getting dirty, and they kept smiling the whole time, so I love seeing that. And as a result, we get some really awesome rock work when we're having fun doing what we are doing. Taking our time because it's slippery, but we got some really tight lines, nice structural, strong boulders in places we need them to be strong and structural. Remember, we're standing in a 6.5 feet deep area right now. We want to make sure that they can jump in freely and not have to jump out way far to get clear of these boulders. So that was a big thought process of why we're doing these huge boulders that are relatively straight up and down. That's the name of the game. We're just going to keep plugging away at this steadily and safely. We're going to keep dealing with the things that come to us, and we're going to have fun while we're doing it. We backfill behind these rocks with gravel, but right now our focus is setting this first rim of perimeter, then we'll start graveling in, and then we go from there. Awesome day 6. Thanks, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. All right, we are at the start of day 7. We've got a beautiful sunshiny day here. The name of the game is just taking our time to make sure we're safe and productive, but everything we're building has to be structural. So I want to lock in the rocks by rocking in our first tier. Once we have that first tier in, not only is it rocked, but it's supporting our soil. It's also locking everything in. So it's going to make it a lot safer for us to build on top of those boulders, because remember, this is 6.5 feet deep, and I want to be able to jump into that deep section freely. So we're really using those huge boulders on that hillside to be able to do that. So in order for us to be able to get to that deep spot and rock it in safely, we have to fold our liner back. So right now we're getting some brooms because we noticed some gravel on there, and we're going to get that cleaned up. We're going to fold it back, and then we're going to drive that huge excavator onto our beach area so we can keep rocking this pond in. Having a blast. Things are going great. What I love about using this EPDM liner is the ability to free flow with your art, the ability to take it, fold it in, and then cut the dirt out how you want, and then lay that liner back down. So that's what we ended up doing at the end of the day here. We're prepping ourselves to lay some humongous boulders tomorrow and build that cliffside. I want it to feel like you're coming up to a cliff, but I really want a bunch of different heights to jump off of, with one of them being at least 3 feet off the water line. So I really want to make it so as the kids get older, there's just more and more interest, and it ages with them, so they're able to jump off of a huge, it's going to feel really high when you jump 3 feet off. We are very lucky that this is our career. We thank you for allowing us to do this. We ask you for your support by hitting that like button, giving us a little comment, and then subscribing. That's a great way for us to just get the word out. And the word is that water features are fun everywhere. This time it's right here in Prior Lake, Minnesota. This time next year for Memorial Weekend, they're going to be sitting on floaties, drifting underneath their waterfall, sitting on the sun deck, listening to that waterfall. Oh, and they're going to have a hot tub, so when the sun goes down, they'll be chilling in their hot tub. They get too hot, cold plunge in the pond. Isn't this awesome? All right, we're just sitting here trying to figure out our next step. So we've got one of our biggest boulders that we're working on getting into the right spot. I have to stay in the machine because it's pulling tension on the machine. So if we don't gas up every now and then, things kind of settle down. So right now you can see the guys are actually looking for the right wedge, because I really want that rock to just be an awesome jump off spot. So from there, it's a good 2 feet down into the water. Kind of where his head is probably about where waterline is going to be. So the guys have to find a wedge rock to put on that side, because when we start taking tension off the machine, when we start letting tension off of that boulder and lowering the machine, everything's falling down and to our left. So we have to support that, and then we'll backfill everything, but that's going to look spectacular. It's about a 5-ton boulder right there. The guys got that boulder. It's a wedge, and now they're just really going to get it into the right position. This one boulder is so important. We're spending a good hour and a half on it right now, just so it goes right in the right spot, because it's important to me. Thank you, team. So huge boulders, 2 coming up out of that pond. That big boulder, we got that machine strapped to. We're just working on getting some wedges in there. I want it to be just how it's sitting, because that's going to be about 2 feet above the water line. So you're going to be able to jump off of a huge spot down into that 6.5 foot depth spot. It's going to be fantastic. Hi everyone, I'm Nick the 5K. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of air and water. The hydrostatic relief is definitely working, but this is a bunch of air that's just kind of worked up. Hopefully, I don't think it's swamp gases or anything to be concerned about as far as inhaling, but we do have to have a way to get this out. We're going to release the gas, and then we'll probably put in some flexible drainage tile just underneath the liner, just to give the gas a place to escape for the future. We got Justin working on getting us ready to place a boulder on our hillside here. We're adding water. We got Calvin sucking water out from behind the liner there. We've got some awesome rock work happening. Real tight lines. Really happy with the way things are looking. Been working on our staircase here, coming up out of the water. We got a couple more steps to do, but we're gonna have to seam on some liner over there. So we'll show you how we do that when we need to add on liner. I just want to make sure we have plenty extra to work with. We probably have enough to make it work, but I want extra. This is in clay. It could settle over time, and I don't want to have to deal with problems. So we're gonna add an extra 2 feet of liner, if not more, onto that section right above the stairs there. So you were just starting to deal with some low liner, but that's part of the game. You just have to go with unforeseen circumstances. Like I said, I love the way this rock works lining up. We got real nice tight lines, huge boulders. We've gotten hit with rain after rain. Even though we're doing our best to prepare for it, there's still some issues happening. I'm glad we put in our hydrostatic relief. That's a necessary component of this. It is working for us. We ended up taking apart a couple of our boulders from that first tier to get ourselves to a spot where we could suck out that water. We are a little short-staffed, but that's the name of the game. Sometimes it happens, and we just kind of push forward as safely as we can with the guys we have. Really happy with our new guy, Calvin, joining us. He's getting along with the team well, getting up to speed quickly. And the thing that I love the most is our quality can't be beat. These are stones that are going to stand here forever. They're not going to move. They're safe to climb on. They're safe to jump on. All the liner has been protected and inspected by the team, so I'm very happy with the way things are going. So keep watching. We're glad you're here. All right, well, some days go smoother than others, as you know, if you're a contractor. Today was one of those days where we just had to make some adjustments. We had picked out a waterfall rock that we wanted to give a chance to try. It's going to be a really cool frame with the water going over it at the same time, so it'd be a single rock, but we couldn't get it to overhang the water just the way we wanted it to. So we're going back to having a waterfall set, and it's going to look fantastic. So right now, the guys are adding a seam, thanks to Mr. Tim Dilly out of Garden State Koi. He told us about the little trick of finding charcoal lighter fluid to clean your liner ahead of time. So You'll want to have some lighter fluid handy for cleaning and prepping the liner. Then you're going to want to have the Firestone primer. Make sure it's not expired. What that's going to do is it's going to give us extra liner so that our steps come up and out of the water nicely. We retain our water line where we want it to be. We don't have to make any sacrifices. So this is one of those things that we weren't quite ready for. When I planned this pond, I planned on having an extra 2.5 feet of liner everywhere. Unfortunately, when we're placing these huge boulders on this clay, they are kind of sinking in and pulling some of that liner down. But the cool thing is we're working with that liner, and you can just add on a seam. It does take time. It does take some resources, but it will be watertight, and things are going to be just how we want it to be. So that's what we're doing now. All right, well, if you are new to the channel, thank you. We're glad you're here. Welcome. We're trying to show the world that water features are fun. Right now, being a pond builder isn't as fun as we'd like it to be because we're just dealing with some challenges. But when we're done with these challenges, it's going to be really fun to say we did it and we conquered those challenges. We've got a great team here. Everyone's got positive attitudes. Everyone's jumping in to help how they can, and we're just trying to move this along in a positive way. I love the way the rock work's looking, so keep watching because we're going to highlight that for you guys. And then before you know it, we're going to be able to turn on the water and fill this pond up. Then we're going to move into our intake bay. We're going to move into our wetland filter and building this waterfall. So keep watching. Before you know it, we'll get to that final reveal. Thanks, everyone.
Open air, side by side we sway there in all the colors. Summer love, lonesome dove, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love.
All right, really exciting today. We've gotten Waterfall rock set. It's under the liner right over there. We have finished off the steps to the top, kind of 2 inches above the water line with those steps. Really beautiful. Got a nice slope to them so that as you're coming up the steps when you're in the water, they come face inwards towards the land so you're not slipping back out in case they're slippery. But no, they went in really easy, really well. Right now we're just framing everything out with the steps so that they get finished off, and then we're just going to work our way around towards the beach area. Nick's going to take the T140 and bring it over here and start setting from this side from the beach area.
And tell me all that you've seen, all the colors. Summer love. Memories washed in every shade of green and all the colors. Summer love. Remember.
We are Pond King Water Gardens, where we create living works of art, 1 yard at a time. All right, we got job site visitors today.
Yeah.
Emerson, Finley, Parker,
Weston, yeah.
Weston,
And
Mike,
Mika.
huh?
Mika.
Mika.